Hello everyone, welcome back to Practice Like a Pro. So we're going to talk about the blues today. So this is, if you're new to blues guitar playing or you want to get into blues guitar playing, this is kind of the first video. So we're going to do some 12-bar blues. We're going to talk about that, and I'm going to give you a chord progression to practice. And we're also going to talk about a major pentatonic scale that you can use to jam with somebody else or using a backing track on the internet. So let's get right into it. So we're going to use 7 chords today, what we call dominant chords. Now, I'll explain why at the back end of the video, so make sure you stick around for that. But have a go at this shape for me. So this is what we call chord 1. This is the main chord that the progression that we're going to have a look at in a second is all centered around. So it's like an A chord, but you pull the middle out. So you over 5 strings, you've got open A, 2nd fret on the D, open G, 2nd fret on the B, and then open high E. It should sound like this. Now you can use fingers 1 and 3, or you can use 2 and 3. I think I use 2 and 3 most of the time. That's how I play that. So feel free to pause the video if you want to get that under your fingers. That's going to be the main chord of the progression, so it's a good idea to get it under your fingers. Okay, chord number 2. Excuse me. I was really trying not to sneeze then. So this is D7. This is chord 4 of the progression. I know this chord 1, chord 4, chord 5 business. Let's get to the progression, then I'll explain all that. You'll just get that under your fingers for now. So it's like an inverted D. Open D, 2nd fret on the G, 1st fret on the B, 2nd fret on the high E. It looks like this. And then the last chord, E7, which is like your regular E major, but then you take your ring finger off. So all you're pressing is the 2nd fret of the A and then the 1st fret of the G with fingers 2 and 1. Now, in the next slide, we're going to glue all those together. So, super duper simple strumming pattern for this. All we're going to do is strum each bar 4 times with a downstroke. Now, if you're feeling super duper fancy, you can put an upstroke on what we call the and of 4. I've set up a loop on my loop station, and that's what I'm doing for that. But if this is your first time looking at a blues and you're really wanting to get into it, don't you worry about that. Just literally 4 strokes per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still on bar 3. Bar 4, and then we're going to hit D7. And you don't even have to go this fast if you don't want to. Back to A7. Then we're going to the turnaround to E7, to D7, back to A7, and then finish on E7. So I'm going to leave that up on the screen while I just waffle a little bit to you all. Now, this is called a 12-bar blues because, shock horror, it's 12 bars long. And it uses what we call a 1-4-5 chord progression. So what that means is we're going to use the 1st, the 4th and the 5th chords from any scale, in this case the A major scale, to create as chords. Now, 1, 4 and 5 is like the strongest 3 chords out of the scale, out of any collection of notes that you can pick. And it uses what's called a perfect cadence, which means it finishes on chord 5, in this case E7, and goes back to chord 1. Now, if this is all spinning in your head, you know, sound first, theory later. I'd much rather that you get the playing under your fingers, and then we can address this in a follow-up video. If you'd like to see that, do let me know in the comments. Now, this is a great platform for jamming, and a lot of jam nights that you go to will have this kind of concept, but also everything from Chuck Berry to Rolling Stones. It's so much great guitar music comes out of or is directly influenced by the blues. So it's a really good idea. I can hear a 1-4-5 chord progression, and it doesn't matter what key it is, I can find it within seconds, and then I'm jamming with somebody. In this case, we're going to be in the key of A, but it's such a powerful tool, and to understand how the chords fit in to that progression, I can finish transcribing a section of a song before I've heard the end of it, because I can preempt what's going to happen. It's so common. So let me go to the next slide. Let's say that you get that under your fingers, and we want some notes to improvise over the top of it. So there's two halves to blues. There's rhythm, and then there's melody. And melody, 9 times out of 10, includes some improvisation. So you've got 5 notes here, which is the major pentatonic scale in the key of A. Now, let me just play that for you. So you've got 6th fret on the G, 5th fret on the B, 7th fret on the B, 5th fret on the high E, 7th fret on the high E. Now, this isn't necessarily the order that they're to be played in. Think of these as colours for your canvas that you're going to create your own melody out of. Now, I haven't given you lots of notes because I want you to really make intelligent note choices, and a lot of times guitarists spend a lot of time learning positions and not actually using them. So this would be a great place to start, and then in a follow-up lesson I fully intend on giving you some more notes to play with. But for now, that's all we've got. And all I want you to do, if you're a super duper beginner at this, all I want you to do is, if somebody's playing the chord progression, you're just going to play up and down that scale, those 5 notes. Now the red note's what we call as root note. That's an A. That's telling us that we're in the key of A. 9 times out of 10, the first scale that you look at the first note will actually be the root note. But the way that I've structured this isn't the case. Try not to read too much into it. Again, sound first. Let's get you playing. So I've got a loop set up on my pedal of that chord progression that we were talking about. And I'm just going to spend 12 bars playing over that chord progression with the major pentatonic scale. No fanciness, just those notes. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? So in a jam night situation, you'd have one person playing the rhythm, another person playing the lead, and 12 bars or 24 bars will elapse, and then you take turns. Then you switch round. So say I'm going to play the chords and you're going to play the lead, and then you kind of go, right, I've had enough now, so I take my rhythm hat off and put my lead hat back on, and then you have a turn, and then we sort of bat this lead guitar bat and ball between each other. That's like jamming 101 over a blues. Now the reason that we're using 7th chords is blues like to use 7th chords because you can use either major or minor pentatonic scales over those chords, and that gives you the sort of Clapton and Beck sort of 60s British invasion guitar sound, which I'll do a follow-up lesson on. If you're interested in more scales, I'll put a card up. We've got a lesson on the 5 kind of essential scales for improvisation that would be a great follow-on to this video, so please do check it out. If you learned something today, please do let us know down in the comments, and I'll make sure to reply to as many as I can. Until I see you next time, keep pressing like a pro. Cheers.